Hey everybody, this is Wholesaling 101. It is Friday, the 20th of May, 2022. I'm Mike Watkins, Mike the Wholesaler. We are having a discussion this time on the market and what it's looking like. Is it going up? Is it going down? I've got Becca and I've got Raymond here. And Raymond was just asked a question about the market in Connecticut. So let's go to that.
Okay. Okay. Yes, my name is Raymond Hollow. I'm here in Maryland today. Um, I was first in North Carolina, where the market is different in North Carolina because North Carolina, you find the houses a lot cheaper market down there. But here in Connecticut, the market's high, as Mike was saying earlier. But here in Connecticut, they do more of buy and hold here. Rental. They do a lot of what we call house hacking here. A lot of the investors, they buy homes where they buy duplexes too, because here in Connecticut is more two-family, three-family homes here. So apartment buildings and stuff here. So that's how they do here. Here you can do wholesaling, but it's not as popular here. Here it's more, like I said, buy and hold. And a lot of the investors are doing more rental here in this market. But I
Do you
do more.
mean,
I do
can you,
more in my market. Say that again.
can I ask you a question about something you said?
Yes.
I believe you said that you can get properties where you moved from. Was it North Carolina?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
South Carolina, you can get properties at a better price or at a lower, I
Yes.
guess,
Yes.
a better deal. What would you describe as a better deal?
Well, when I moved, I'm originally from Connecticut, but I moved away back in 2008. But I came back home due to our parents and stuff like that. All my family's still here, but I still do business. More of my market is still down there because I have two brothers that they run their business in North Carolina. So from a virtual access, I find all the deals here from Connecticut, so on, and do all the numbers and all that from here. They go, they go look at them and stuff like that. And so down
Right.
there, all the market down there, they're dealing more with the cities with the lower populations. A lot of the cities where you got populations, that's what a lot of investors are doing now. They're, especially in that market, they're looking into buy in a lot of the cities where the population is smaller. Like down there, you got population
Mm-hmm.
7,000, 1,400. So that's how they doing there in North Carolina. Yeah, because
And
it's a
then,
lot.
so
Go ahead.
what's the median price or what's the average price,
Um,
you're finding there? And are you
the
buying
highest,
them to
the highest
hold or
I,
are you buying
yeah,
to rent?
uh, they buy into whole, they buy into where we're flipping, and I got word from them today. They also gonna do they looking to take over mortgages and stuff, created financing. So these guys, so that's how it's getting down there now because they get involved in everything down. You know, and they gave
Yeah.
me what counties they looking in. So it's like counties they looking to find, looking. And so what
Yeah.
I did to like today, what I did today, the counties they gave me, like Wake County, you got different counties. I pretty much know all the counties. North Carolina County is huge. And the populations, like I have the list where I have all the populations. And these cities have like small population in the houses. The houses in those cities, you can find them where you can get them for 50,000, 30,000. So that's how that market is down there. And the highest I've seen is 500, 500.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Yeah.
that's how, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen, I think it was maybe two or three, I don't know what you call it, episodes ago, on the REIA site, but I sort of changed up the strategy that I'm teaching my students, and we went for
Right.
buyers first.
Right.
And so I pulled a list of like buyers all over Atlanta, like all the counties that I was willing to go into. And I plugged in which, I don't know what the code was, but it would count how many times each particular zip code came up. It also counted how many times a buyer's name came up. So these were purchased properties with cash. And so I found the top 3 buyers, the top 3 zip codes, the top 3 um, years that that like everybody was buying, I think between 1980 and 1989, within that range. And then we targeted that, and sort of to see what people are buying and it was actually condos. People were buying, I think, like 20 or 30 condos. So I'd be very interested to see what in in both your markets, what people are buying, and maybe going, after that. Not as like, this was for wholesaling, but
Right.
if everybody's buying these houses and they're buying them, but you don't see a resale, means they're
Hmm.
keeping that house as a rental.
Right.
And so if everybody's doing that, then exactly where the hot spots are. And so we ended up targeting, it was a zip code in Atlanta, and it was a strange zip code. And we just went with condos uh, in the 1980s built. And then, yeah. And so the thinking is if I keep them as a rental, I've got a good rental. The rent rates were pretty high there,
Hmm.
comparison to the price, or the average purchase price. And then also, if that I don't like it, I've got a bunch of cash buyers that'll buy it from me.
Right.
So I'd highly suggest at least looking up the data and seeing what's going on
Right.
in your
Right.
markets for that.
Right. Right.
Here in Wyoming, we're just about 100 miles or something, maybe 94 miles basically north of Cheyenne. Um, and we are seeing people from Colorado just buying like crazy. My husband's a plumber, so he's one of the people that's called when they're buying a house to inspect a line or camera the line or see about a repair, or, like just as soon as they get there, they want to know where the shutoffs are, and he kind of runs them through stuff like that. And then of course all the certifications for the recapture devices are coming up for the spring, so the city's sending out letters and telling everybody they need to get their recapture devices tested. So he sees a lot of new people, and he's like, man, we got 3 new people from Colorado this week. I'm like, wow. So that's really, our market hasn't really slumped. If anything, it's staying steady.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting.
they're buying everything from um they're buying anything and everything. We have very little on the market.
Are they staying virtual, or are they coming and setting up an office, or
I
can you
think
tell?
that we're getting a lot of retired folks, and we're getting people who want to there's kind of like we have people from um the East Coast that fly out here, and people
Yeah.
from South Texas that fly in here to bird hunt. We have a big birding
Oh,
gun club here, and it's just a huge pheasant hunt, turkey hunt, a lot of bird hunting here.
are you doing
And
Airbnbs for that?
oh, I love doing Airbnbs. It's a good business here.
Yeah, I never thought
Not
of
not
that.
just for the birding, but because we have a small community college here, and everybody comes in for all the graduations. And then um, we have a nursing program here, and we have the vocational college for the ag community, and we do a lot. Everybody in Colorado, all the kids come up here that are in vet tech that want to be vet techs. Normally they go to work down there in Colorado and find out they like being a vet tech, and then they find out, man, I can make double the money if I go get my vet tech certificate. And then I can work out for a ranch or I can work anywhere. And so they come up here for the 18-month, I think it's a 15-month to 18-month program, depending on what they know already previously. And then, so they need interim housing, they just need short-term housing. And I'd love Airbnb for all those reasons and more. Plus we're right on Highway 26 or the Mormon Trail. So we have a lot of, we have the National Monument here in Fort Laramie, Pioneer Days, summertime, super, just a lot of things, a lot of sites. We have the wagon ruts, that are kind of unusual. And then we're kind of the cutaway to go up towards South Dakota to Custer. And so people travel through here to go to Devil's Tower, stuff like that. So it's a good Airbnb place for lots of reasons.
Yeah, my friend was doing that here. I think the only thing here is deer, and people love it. And guy in my mastermind was buying, Dan, he was buying some acres, and he was telling us, yeah, we bought this land, there's a house on it. And I was thinking, like, what are you gonna do with it? Like, couldn't see what he was gonna, how he was gonna make money. And he was gonna put in like 3 freezers, like the kind that, opens up, and like Meemaw used to have. And he said he was gonna rent it out, and um, have deer on the property, and was going to Airbnb it to people, and they could hunt the deer and then bring it back, keep it in the freezer. He had like a whole prep station set up, and I was like, man, that's such a good idea. And then when it's not hunting season, then it's a you know lake house, for the family. So I was like, man, that's such a good idea.
That's super smart. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that last year, I don't know what this last hunting season, but the year before, my husband's uncle Dave, he's a butcher, and he butchered over 75 animals. But it's antelope, elk, and deer.
Oh yeah, you get the elk. Yeah.
Yeah, we just have a
Yeah.
lot of people come here, but you have to get a permit. So you have to, have a permit so you know whether or not you're going for a doe, or what, if you get a buck, or if you can shoot a yearling, or, you have to have your permits, your tags. So, and you have to take a hunting safety class. So people come in to take the class, they need an Airbnb for that. And then
Mhm.
a lot of the ranchers out here, they have these old houses, they just abandon them. And I'm like, fix that thing up. A hunter will live in that, will stay in that, and will pay you.
Yeah.
They just
Well,
they
now,
just abandon the old farmhouse and they build a new house on the land somewhere.
yeah. Well, you could buy those up and Airbnb them.
No, you can't, because
Oh,
they're on their 300 acres or their 200 acres, or they're on their ranch. It's the
and you
old homestead that grandma and grandpa had, and now they just use it for storage. Like, oh, we got my wife's storing all her stuff in there.
and you
We just
can't
built.
purchase it from them.
No, it's on their homestead land. It's on their land. It's on their ranch. Like, it's
Oh,
not
well, I mean,
divided off. You can't.
oh, you
Yeah.
can't divide that off. I think there's like
Well,
a 20
they don't.
year something. It's
They
some
don't
length
want.
of time to where it doesn't become, because it's agriculture.
They
If
don't
it's
want
not
to do
farmland.
that.
Oh, yeah.
That's their kids' inheritance, and that's their family's land that's been in their name for,
Mhm.
their fourth generation, fifth generation ranchers.
Man, yeah. Yeah, we don't have any
That,
of that here.
that's really the only way you can make it here ranching. Um, is you have to have like 23 to 25 acres per cow to feed them,
Oh, man.
because you have to have a lot of grassland, because we have a lot of prairie, it's prairie grass. Whereas
Now
like
this
in
is
South,
Colorado. Colorado.
No, we're north of Colorado and Wyoming, but I'm from South Texas. So when we came here and they said they have a bunch of cows, I'm like, where are the cows? There ain't no cows here. Because in South Texas, we have about 1 or 2 cows per acre because we have so much grass. But it takes 23 to 25 acres here to feed 1 cow. So you have acres and acres and acres of land, but only 1 cow per every 25 acres.
Yeah. All right. So
The market in Georgia is still pretty hot, but you have some pockets that are
yeah,
not as hot.
yeah. I would say in the perimeter, so in 285, there is so there's 285, which is, we call it the perimeter, which goes around Atlanta. And then there's Atlanta, and then there's Decatur, and then there's I-20 that goes through it. And then there is, another freeway that splits into 2 that goes down the middle. So there's almost like 4 little quadrants of
Pockets.
Atlanta. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it sort of looks like a heart when you look at it. And I would say each of those is a market. And then outside, I would say there's northwest, northeast, southeast, and southwest would each be their own market. And they all go up and down depending on, I think it's just in people's heads.
Mhm.
What happens, because they wrote an article in the Realtor Quarterly that millennials were moving out of the perimeter and moving out to the suburbs, and so you weren't going to be looking around for a tenant. You were going to have all these kids and get their moms to co-sign, and of course they said, oh, you can up rents, and sure enough, people upped their rents. But it wasn't that there was an influx of people. It was just they just upped their rents, probably because they read it in the Realtor Quarterly. So stuff like that happens all the time. A quadrant will go up, a quadrant will go down. But yeah, so what I had planned here.
What is this up on the screen about Mike's house help?
So yeah, this was a script that I'm going to rewrite. So this was the script to essentially, house help. So what we did was we transitioned from, we buy houses, I get texts, I get calls, the weird thing is is Mike Watkins there, like a creditor or a debt collector calling you, very strange. And then, I would start saying weird stuff. Like I'd say no, and they'd be like, okay, we're interested in buying your house at 123 Main Street. And, I'm like, if everybody's getting these calls, we need to do something different. So we switched over from, asking to buy people's houses to helping them with their house. And one of the ways we help them is, of course, by selling the house. And when we sell the house, it's basically us buying the house. And so we changed it to house help, because I would get people yelling at me at Walmart, just one lady was yelling at me because we buy houses on my shirt, and connected us with, or me with, these other people that are calling and texting. And my wife gets weird ones now. She got one and it was like, corny joke incoming. And then the next text was just some corny joke, and it was like, oh yeah, we want to buy your house. Another one was like, aliens are, coming down, so you need to sell your house, I think, before they take over. Something weird.
Mike, I think this is super smart.
Yeah.
So many
Yeah.
people, you needed to do that. I agree. And I love, house help, because that's what you want to do. You want to help people. Look, sometimes you can help them save their house. And if you do help them, sometimes it helps them to realize in a month or 2 that we can't really hang on to this. And since you are helping them, you're the first one they'll call.
Yeah, and so that's just one of the ways that we sell, and we sort of leave that one at the end of the pitch. And so we fund repairs, and that's basically me being an affiliate of a lender. And so I lend them money to get caught up on payments, anything like that. And so I make money off of that. We connect them with contractors, and that's basically me just sending them my contractor, and then the contractor will send me, referrals of stuff that they want to work on. Hey, give you the house, I'll do the work on it. So we help each other out there. Sometimes I'll send it over to a realtor if it doesn't need any work and they want to list it. And then we help find them tenants, which is just basically a lease option. So we get the property under contract, we find the tenant pays us, we move them in and we collect that basically finder's fee. And then of course we also do sandwich lease options as well. So we find tenants, we find contractors, we fund repairs, fund back payments, and then we help them sell it. And I want to sort of condense that down into just a quick three things, like an elevator pitch that, somebody asked me, because somebody asked me, I think, I was at school with my son and he's 6, and he was like, and he had a shirt that, we had printed for him from a friend that said, my daddy buys houses. And then, he was telling the other kids, oh, my daddy buys other people's houses. And he was telling them about it. And so I was like, well, I don't do that now. I help people with their houses. And I didn't have a good elevator speech to say, well, I help people do this, 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 and this. So I'm hopefully going to do that here. And I want this to be my new script. And then I've got Mojo Dialer ready. I've got some leads that I just had skip traced here. And hopefully we'll get in some calls. Hey, this is some here.
What are you using to skip trace? You still using batch driven?
No. I started using Lead Sherpa, and they'll try to sell you a $500 texting thing, which is very strange. I mean, if you need texting, that's fine. You can do that. But it's $500 a month. And I found that if there's like an X over in the corner somewhere, and you can get past that. And once you get in here, you can get leads. And I want to say they're 15 cents a skip trace. And the skip trace, like you see here, they found existing records. So when this skip traces a list, if I've already skip traced them, those units, they'll actually check the other list to see if I've skip traced that one before. And so they won't charge you again. They'll just pull that skip trace back.
Nice.
And pull it in there. Now you can turn that off, like if you want to see if they've moved somewhere or something like that, if it's been, more than 5 years. And then you can see how many hits they got. They got 98%. So this one was good. You see, like I've got one here with 30. So they tell you how accurate they are. But the reason I started using them is because they have a most or recent usage next to everything. So they have a phone number, and then they have the last time that was used. So it's really good for, obviously not calling the ones that haven't been around since, the 2000s.
Yeah. I noticed with skip trace, you would get like 5 or 6 phone numbers, and you're like, wow, which one of these
Could you try again?
is current?
My watch was talking for some reason. Sorry.
That was Siri. She's chiming in.
Always listening. And then it also has IP addresses. And so you can Google search the IP address that they've last used their emails at. And so that will also tell you, some of the time I've if it's a property that I know I have a cash buyer for, or if it's one I want, in an area, like if I, drove by it and saw it, that it was dilapidated, and I'm skip tracing it like, onesie twosie, I'll see where the IP address is, and I've sometimes seen it other than the property or even the owner's address or the property address. And you can Google search it, and I think you put in the words IP address, and it will give you like a longitude, latitude of where that is, and you can put that into Google Maps, and of course connect it to the nearest property house, and send the marketing there instead, or knock on the door, that kind of thing. So I like this. And I went around from like batch driven. I went to a couple of other ones, and from my, I think I've got 3 cold callers now, and they all have not complained. I used batch driven. I used one, and it was really bad. And then when I would get some complaints on batch driven that, some of these aren't, the right person, because it's really bad when you get through like 20 people and like they're all like, hey, this is a pizza restaurant, in
Yeah.
California. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
But I haven't had any complaints with lead Sherpa, other than, of course, getting into to get to the leads because they want to upsell you.
And do you ever use Land Glide for anything?
Oh no. So I recently switched over a second time, or I feel like I'm doing it a lot, but I switched over to REI Simply. And so they have
Say that again.
RE Simply,
Okay.
SIMPLI, and it's
Okay.
RESIMPLI.
And what does that give you versus what Land Glide gives you?
So it's a CRM, and
Oh,
I was using batch driven as a CRM because it connected with batch leads, and it had that, driving around apps similar to Land Glide. Land Glide's like $10 a month, and it gives you, the data, the text data, the lot lines, all of that. But with REI Simply, since it's connected to the CRM, I just tap the houses, add it to the list, and it tracks the route. It tracks, what roads I've been down. It tracks that, everybody else that does it. If they download the app on the team and they go driving, it tracks all of the houses they find as well. And it puts it in the CRM. And then, of course, we can pull it out, skip it, put it back, and start marketing to it. So, and I don't know if, let me check real quick. So it might, let me pause that. And okay, so there's a website called Zapier, and so Land Glide, depending on what CRM you use, Land Glide might connect with Zapier, and if it connects to Zapier, then that means, you'd be fine paying the $10 a month, and you can just do that. So Zapier, log in. So I've got a new, I'm gonna have to make a new password for it. So if you give me a minute, I'll do that. And so that was the problem I was having was, batch driven was supposed to have all of this connectivity. Now let's see if I've got, oh, I can sign in with Google. Okay. All right, let me see. Oh yes, this works. Okay. So the problem I was having is connecting it with everything. So it was supposed to have batch driven was a CRM, and it was supposed to connect to batch leads and batch dialer. And so I had all these things that didn't work together. They were actually separate companies. But let's see. So here we want, no, it doesn't. Okay. So yeah, I wouldn't suggest land glide unless, you're fine with finding a property and then just manually inputting that into your CRM, which is not that much work. But it's something to be said when I'm, going down the block in Atlanta and I'm going really slow and I've got my phone and I see a house and I've got it right there and I can just click, add that property to the list and then put it, back in the holder while I'm going down the street, is just very seamless. So, but yeah, Land Glide is pretty good. It's like $10 a month. It tells you all of the data that you would need. So it'll get the job done. The other one you might want is that does a similar thing, but also markets to those properties is Deal Machine, but that's going to be $50 a month.
Okay.
But that's also going to do marketing. So you can hit a button and it will send a postcard every month to the house. So while you're driving, you just click again, and they're going to print a letter the next day or a postcard and start sending them postcards.
How do you verify that those are sent out?
Oh, I put myself in there.
Okay.
I went to because so that's what you always
Yeah,
do.
you always wonder.
Put yourself in the list. And so I got a picture of my house. Now you got to make sure that this person is not living in the house, because that's very weird. You're like looking out the window, like they just sat out there and took a picture of the house. But they do have ones without a picture. So if it's an owner occupant, you mail them just a flat postcard, no picture. But you can also put a picture of yourself on there. So it'll have you, it'll have the house, and it'll have a little blurb that says, hey, is this your house? Would you sell it to me? That kind of thing. And the problem I ran into was you can change the wording, but there's a part of the postcard template that says, I think it said like text, sell to this number to sell your house, or to, if you want us to buy your house, text this number, and you couldn't remove it. And so I was like, that's not going to work with the house help. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the whole postcard, I changed the words. We helped you with your house. These are all the things we can help you with. If you need help, please give us a call. And it was just kind of, both of those marketing clashed for me.
Do you ever have anybody that you're working with that like they're trying to save their house? Have you run into that situation very much yet?
What do you mean?
They're trying to keep their house. Like they'll tell you that,
Oh,
they're
yeah.
behind on it, but they
Mhm.
really want to keep it, and they can write a hardship letter maybe and get some concessions from their lender, or get their interest rate lowered or something like that. I mean, I don't, if people didn't buy their houses within the last few years, I don't know why they'd need to lower their interest rate. But I mean, if they bought them before, they might be able to lower their interest rate. How do you help people with that? Can you?
So yeah, so the analogy I use is like Jafar from Aladdin. You want to be their trusted advisor. Obviously, you don't want to be evil, but we get on their side, and
Yeah.
oh, you want to keep the house, and sometimes I'll say, do you want to sell it? Do you want to keep it? And they'll say, oh, we want to keep it. So then we're like, okay, well, we can pull you a line of credit. And, if they get the credit good, we get, I think, around 2,000 to 3,000, depending on how much money they get. I'd say the median price is like anywhere from 2 to 400,000. And then if that's good, if they don't, then it's like, okay, well, you can't get the funding. It looks like selling it might be your only option, or possibly, you moving out and you renting it, and, we can find you a tenant and have the tenant pay the rent and then use that to pay the mortgage. But then it comes out to, well, where are you going to live? And sort of helping them through that process is better, because they start to come up with the solution of, oh, let me sell it, instead of me saying, hey, you should sell it. And so when they come to the realization that they need to get rid of the house, it's a lot easier to then buy the house from them and get it under contract that way.
Right.
All right.
Interesting.
Do you wouldn't happen to have the owner information of like where they live at 825 East 30th Avenue, Torrington?
It says it's owner occupied, but I know it's not.
Oh, okay. Okay, well then maybe that's and then do you know the owner's name?
It's supposed to be O'Neill, his last name. O'Neilll. Raymond, just so you know what he's talking about, in the chat, I
Yes.
sent Mike an address because I wanted to see what it looked like on this, see what he could find on
Oh,
his
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Put
on
it to
his
the test.
on his system, and kind of see, because I've been trying to find out. These people have had a for sale by owner sign
Right.
outside of the gate for a while, and it gets blown away. And it's got a couple of numbers on it that I have to guess what the number is. So you try to call it, and then you can't really.
And are they putting it back every time?
No, they haven't put it back in a while, but I found another sign down the street.
Okay.
It's very windy. It's very windy here.
Okay. Oh, okay. Is it an H stake or is it a
No,
it's wooden stake?
it's a little bitty. Well, no,
Oh,
it has two little bitty wires that are
oh,
very,
A
very
stake.
thin.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so if that one's getting knocked down, here's what I would do. You could go to Home Depot and don't tell nobody about this, okay?
Yeah.
um, and go to Home Depot, get a for sale by owner sign,
Yeah.
and put your number on it.
Yeah.
Just your number, and don't put like your actual number. Put like your Google Voice number,
Uh-huh.
or your virtual number, and get it on a wooden stake and hammer that into the ground so it won't fall over.
Uh-huh.
And what this is going to do is you're going to get people calling you trying to buy it.
Yeah.
And you can ask them, well, what's your offer? We don't have a price for it yet. We're just accepting offers. So you can see what people are willing to pay
Yeah.
and sort of what the market value is, or the
Mhm.
wholesale. I call it the wholesale offer. Basically, what price cash buyers are willing to buy at if you want to do that. And then, of course, the seller will call you. They might be mad, but they will call you eventually when they see the, whoever
I'm
down the
wondering
street
when's the last
calls
time
them.
they were there, because there's so many tumbleweeds, and just it's like they've left it,
So
they've
it's
just they definitely not living there. If they had opened the gate, then all those tumbleweeds would not be up against the gate like that.
all right. So it is in Goshen County.
Goshen, yeah.
Oh, Goshen. Okay. We have that with Hiram here. Everybody says Hiram. Okay.
Now, did they leave a number for you to call?
It's just a house that somebody's kind of, I don't know what's happened, if there's been a death in the family. I don't know what's happened.
His in my system, I have a system too. I'm looking at. It's O'Neill Ruby Carroll
Mhm.
Restate Real Trust.
Yeah.
They brought this back in let me see,
Let me look this up.
she is, yeah, it's a truck. I have a number here if you want the number.
Yeah, I've called well, you can give me, that'd be great. I'd call the number, but I've called the number that they also have on the sign,
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
and nobody answers or returns a call or anything.
Okay, so it is.
It just goes to
Hey.
not a voicemail, but it says this voicemail has not been set up or something like that.
Mhm.
E30.
You hit
It's a
in the
very how would I say this? It's a very good area. It's a part of town. It's right on the edge of town. It's got probably about an acre. It's got a little bit of land, and everybody
Right.
likes that. And being right on the edge of town, and there's a builder that's built a couple of other homes right up there on 30th. And then a realtor lives right down from Simmons. So you see Simmons is right up the road. And then right around the corner from that is North Point, which is probably the highest selling properties or homes in town, next to Cottonwood.
Mike, you have
So
the parcel number?
Ooh, let me
Here it
look.
is, right?
Oh,
yeah, I've
two-
got the parcel number.
Yeah,
okay.
parcel, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I can see all that on county website and stuff. What's the phone number that you have? Is it the 307 number?
Hold on. 307
Uh-huh.
631-8812.
Yeah, I've called that one.
Okay.
Oh, that's not the parcel number.
No,
Oh, you're probably
307 631 is the phone number. 307 is our area code here.
the parcel. He wants the parcel
Parcel.
number. Yeah. It's
Here we go.
yeah, that's it. Yep, that's it right there. I got the same thing.
So it's a little bit like, you can see like it's a berm home.
Yeah.
They're very popular here, where the back side of the home
Oh.
is to the back of the wind. And so you only kind of see the roof at the back side, and then on the front side of the house that faces the south.
Wow.
My husband said he had been out to the house a few years ago when there were some family member or whatever that moved in there after somebody had passed away. And they were just kind of living there because I guess they thought they could live there for free. But they had a backed up line, and he had to go out there and see what was wrong with it. But they never paid the bill.
Man, that is very strange. So property location, it's 825, and in the example they have Baya, 84 Baya. So it looks like it's just.
What does that mean?
I'm guessing that's the road name minus the suffix,
Right.
which in this case would be avenue. But when I put in E30th, nothing comes up. So no real estate.
Oh, you mean you're not looking at the appraiser or assessor's office? It's not town of Goshen. It's
The
it's
county
town of
Ocean.
it's county. Do you want me to share with you the county appraiser's office website?
So yeah, what I want to see is I want to see their full name, and if so that's going to show us where the taxes are being mailed to.
Right.
If that's the same property, then that's fine. But I just need a full name here. I need the first and the last name.
It's Ruby O'Neill.
Ruby.
Let me see if I can copy. I'll just copy and paste it. Let me see. It's a revocable trust.
That's what I see here. I got a the view report here. Is
You
Renewal.
got the Ruby O'Neill, yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm trying to think. It's Goshen County.
And here's the tax authority, tax status, tax authority, Goshen County is at 2125 East A Street. And you see,
Really? That's different.
it's in the tax agency. I see the agency ID number and then the tax ID number as well. And
I haven't seen that before. That's new.
yeah,
You said it was on East A or West A?
it says 2125 East A Street.
2125 East A
Yeah,
Street.
it says tax status, tax authority, Goshen County. It gives this report I have, it says ADC ID number, tax ID number, then the address, and then 2120 taxes, exemption property tax, $1,267. Assessment value, 18,000. Then have, let me see, delinquent, yeah, that's same 21. Delinquent tax bill. It says payment status installment, delinquent first, March to 28th, $595. And
I've never done one lead at a time, so this is all right. Oh, so it gave me a spreadsheet. Okay.
yeah.
Wow. It's for one lead. Okay. Let me pull that up.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, I'm trying to figure out. I mean, I've got a picture of it here. I'm trying to figure out how to put it up. I can't put it on the screen, can I?
Let's
Maybe I
see.
can send it in chat. Hang on, let me see if I can take a
Okay.
picture of it and then
It's an
maybe
open lien. It's an open lien on this too.
what does that mean?
Oh, that's
It says
so there's a
open
lien on the
lien.
property.
It said owner one, a nil. Then it said combined loan to value, 0%. Then it said estimate equity is 243, 274. Yeah, this is strange. This is probably strange. No.
Okay.
There's been a problem with it. I don't know what it is.
Okay, here we go. Here we go. All right. Let's do the
Yeah.
reveal. Carolyn O'Neill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some phone number, two phone number. Now, this one was last used in 2019. This one
Oh.
phone number.
Wow.
And I'm guessing this is one you've already called.
I don't know, probably. I mean, I've tried.
And then there's nothing else.
I talked to a neighbor and the neighbor gave me a phone number.
Okay, here we go. They're deceased.
Yeah, somebody
Oh,
died and a young couple moved in. But they aren't there anymore. They got run off. They're
Okay.
the ones that called my husband and had a plumbing issue because they caused a backup there
Okay, so
and they didn't want to pay to fix it.
all right. So there's a couple of things. If they're deceased, that means there's going to be a probate record.
right.
Now, I don't know what
Oh.
it's going to be like there, but you
Okay.
could go in and you could say, hey, I'm looking to, do something with this house. It's just sitting there.
Yeah.
And then tell them this is the particular address.
Okay.
I think the person may be deceased. I think their name is Carolyn O'Neill, or it might be Ruby O'Neill. And see if you can get the data that way, because when a person passes away, somebody has to provide their phone number in order to inherit that property. They give their information.
Right.
And so you could at least say, well, could I, and if they don't want to give you the phone number, you could say, well, could I get, their mailing address? And I could send them a letter, and they'll usually let you do that. But now, the other thing I forgot, sorry, I forgot to tell you, is it also finds relatives. So here's a relative, Owen O'Neill, and
Okay.
they don't have anything on him, but they do have a Cherry McKimmy, and they've got a couple phone numbers.
I bet it was Cherry, or that sounds like a person that I'll ask my husband, McKimmy, whether or not that was who called him and asked him to come out and snake the line.
Okay, so I'm putting that in
Now,
there.
Mike, what system you use that got that information? The system you have?
That was leadsherpa.com.
Okay, knee surf or surfer.
Lead Sherpa.
Sherpa. Yeah, I think it's I think that's the term for the donkey, I think, that carries you up a mountain, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you have to hire a Sherpa if you're gonna like hike Mount
Yeah.
Everest. So
Yeah.
you hire a Sherpa that guides you. It's a guide.
Mhm.
Yep, a guide. So that makes sense, lead, guide.
Yeah.
Cool.
So if this is a hit, then yeah, they'll have guided you to the seller. So now, some
Nice.
instances where somebody passes away and they don't have a next of kin to inherit, so,
Yeah.
in that rare instance, you can go to the court and apply to inherit it. So
What?
if it's just sitting there, and then if all this fails,
Well, okay, so Mike, what about in the situation like, if they haven't paid their taxes or anything?
if they haven't paid their taxes,
Because it shows
uh,
that the taxes are behind.
Yeah, it's delinquent tax.
okay, it's Wyoming. Am I spelling that right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know how you spelled it, but yeah.
It looks like they're a tax lien state. So you could you could pay the taxes that are behind, and then wait a period. Usually it's a year. And after that period, if they haven't paid the taxes, then you take ownership of the property.
Yeah, and then you have to wait another year after you take ownership of the property. Before you do any
Yeah,
major repairs or anything, you
that's a
wait
lie.
another.
Now,
Well, the thing is
that's the
that
last thing
they
you can
have
do.
the option to come back within a year and pay up those taxes you paid and then you don't have ownership anymore. So you can't get a title to it for another year after, which I don't care.
Yeah. So if all else fails, then that's your,
I'll just rent it. I can just rent it out while I'm waiting to see if it's going to be mine or not. I don't care.
oh, now wait a minute. What's the wording? Now, I'm not an attorney, but
I know, I'm just going by like these
well,
people who
yeah.
bought this house over here next to Marvel. So I was down at the auction. I was down at the courthouse when they bought that. And I noticed like their trees were dying. That used to be Connie's house. I knew that house. So they fixed it up nice. I wanted to buy it. They bought it. They got a good deal on it, but I didn't want to pay that much. And so anyway, I told them, I said, hey, these sprinklers out here aren't on and these trees are all dying out here and you guys are just going to they're like, well, we really don't want to fix the sprinkler system. It's in pretty bad shape. We don't really want to fix it. I'm like, well, no, this is on a drip system. This is separate. This is attached to, so I showed them where it's at and they're like, oh, we didn't know that. I said, yeah, it's just how they wired this. That's just how they did this. So I was showing them and they're like, well, we're really not doing much to it. We're not going to even move in or let anybody live here for a year until we find out whether or not Connie and her husband are going to come back and pay up the back taxes on it. Because if they do, then we no longer can have it. So you have a year after but I've been to the tax lien sales too.
Well, what I was gonna say is if you can't fix it up, you could, rent it out. And
Yeah,
with
I
the
don't
idea
care. Like I said, yeah.
uh, if you aren't allowed to fix up the property,
Yeah.
you might be able to do, I think they call it an investor special where
Oh,
you
we can
to
fix
the
it
tenant
up.
and the
We
tenant
can fix
fixes it
it
up.
up. We just lose all the money that we
Yeah,
utilize,
right. And you don't
you
want
know.
to do that. Mm,
I mean,
yeah,
it's just a risk, it's just a
yeah.
risk that the people could come back. But no, I would love that scenario. That'd be great.
So
I don't
see
care. Any of those scenarios are fine with me. I don't care. You know,
see if you can give Terry a call and see if she knows anything. And then if not, I would go to the courthouse.
I'll just go down to the appraisal district and talk to Debbie Surratt because Debbie Surratt will have the most information at the appraisal district.
Yeah.
She'll be able to, she can get into every system there. And she's been down there 29 years. She's pretty good.
Yeah, it's good to have people. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, she's so amazing. So,
Yeah, I tried
That's a lot
doing
of
that and learning everybody's name, but so many people switch out and there's so many people. It's hard
wow,
to do that here.
we're in a
that's a
small
lot of
town.
land and space.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
lot. That's a lot of work to work with too. That's a lot of space and land. Yeah, look at that.
So
Thanks guys for helping me with that.
Yeah, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah. So come back. Let me see. When is it? So come back. You have to come back on, where is my calendar?
I'll call you or email you before that, but
Okay.
if I come up against a brick wall, but then I'll come back and let you guys know what happened.
Yeah. On June 3rd. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah, if you get back to me or you come back on the next meeting, and let me know and I'll let everybody know
June
Okay.
3rd.
what happened.
Yeah, that's his next meeting,
Yeah.
Raymond.
Yeah, June 3rd. And so we were doing calling. July is, oh, wait a minute, no, June, yeah. June is gonna be all about direct mail.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be covering that on June 3rd.
It's gonna be good, good. And Mike, on REIA USA, right?
Yeah.
It mentioned, they sent me an email just about completing your wholesaling course.
Mhm.
It's under the badges or something, completing your
Oh,
wholesaling course.
yes, they got
Yeah,
badges
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Yeah, really cool. So if you complete all the stuff, you get badges. And I mean, completing the stuff is, uh, just gonna put another tool in your tool belt, right?
right, right.
You get a house, you want to sell it, you just sell the contract, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. And then I think the other thing is now they give you get prizes
Yeah,
too. Oh no,
the bonus is a free coaching call with you.
yeah.
Yeah,
And that's just the first one. And I think
yeah,
that's 20 or 10 webinars that you actually like log in, not register for, but you log in, it tracks it. And then it's
5. It got 5.
oh, 5. Okay.
Yeah,
So it's
if you
free.
do, if you complete your wholesale course, you get the bronze, the badge, and then the coaching call. The bonus is 5 training lessons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had somebody get on there. Only one
Oh.
person has done it so far, and
Yeah.
yeah, it was
So that
pretty fun.
your course is under what? Let me see. I think it's under
Programs?
yes, on the online courses. Yeah.
Online course, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you get Stacy's course too.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right, awesome. So we'll be back on June 3rd, and we're going to be talking about direct mail. Hopefully I will be able to find my direct mail samples and I'll show you. I am sending out direct mail right now to Paulding County, and one of them has, it looks like a contract. It says home purchase contract, and it's got the price, the date, all of that on it. So it's basically sending them a contract. So all those people that you get that are good, like, oh, what's your offer? You're
Right.
calling me, or they call you from the letter. Okay, what's your offer? And you've got to come up with an offer. Well, I just say, look right there on the letter and tell me what it is. And we accept it. But we get to make the term. Well, anyway, we'll get into that on June 3rd. And then I'm also mailing out another mailer to the same list, but I've got my wife's name and another address on it. So
Right.
I'm going to see which one works and which one doesn't, and which one, and they each have their own phone number. So I'm going to split test it and see what happens, and I'll let y'all know how that goes on June 3rd. So thanks everybody for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks,
See
Mike.
you next time.
Thank you, Becca. Thank you, Dennis. We got Dennis up here. Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Great stuff.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Dennis. I didn't know you were in
It's
the room
okay.
too.
Yeah, it's all right. You can lurk, man. All right.
Where are you from, Dennis?
I'm here in Cobb County, Georgia.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, move
Mableton.
over, okay. All right.
Sorry you had to hear all that garbage about Wyoming. Y'all could have been talking
No,
about
it's cool.
way more interesting stuff.
Oh man, yeah, we could cover
Now
that.
I know
Cover that
much
next
more
time.
about cows.
Oh my
Yeah.
word, isn't that crazy? Hey, so Mike, can you put in the chat the name of, okay, wait a minute, I'll put it in there. It's I want these guys to know that. They probably already know. What did you say? It's RESIM,
Oh,
RE dash or just
Simply.
RES? There you go.
Okay.
Do you guys use that?
Yeah, I
Dennis?
see it. Yeah.
Or Raymond?
Yeah, I see it. No, I don't use it. It's my first time seeing it.
Okay.
You
And
said
what-
as a CRM, is this for your leads or
Yeah,
prospects?
it's a
Your
CRM.
follow-ups?
Yeah, it does follow-ups. It does everything that I need it to do. The only thing it doesn't do is mass texting, which is fine. I'm not gonna be doing that anyway. It doesn't pull its own leads, which is fine. Usually when you get leads from your CRM, they're pretty bad. And then it doesn't skip trace. But it's got follow-up. It's got so when a new lead comes in, I have everybody in there listed as a job description.
Right.
So we have the cold callers. I'm the backup acquisition manager. I've got the acquisition lead, and then I've got I'm the closing coordinator. And so we got everything plugged in there. So when a new lead comes in, they text in, they call in, it immediately sets 2 tasks to the acquisition lead, and it says, hey, go by and look at the property, go check the comps and see what the ARV is. And then every step of the way, it tags people in these tasks to get it done. And it's a simple, like, well, you're going to see this backwards, but it's from left to right, so you've got it in, you got to get it to under contract. When it's under contract, you get it to bought, and then you get it rented out. And then it also manages the rental property as a rental. You can connect it with your bank account, so it manages all the KPIs. You go in there and say, hey, this 900 for lumber, that was on this particular property. It'll tell you how much you spent, how much money you made on that property. It'll manage wholesaling inventory. So if you've got a website with all of your houses that you're selling on it, it'll link up there. I mean, it does all the stuff I need it to, but again, it doesn't do mass texting. So if like mass texting is something you want to do, it doesn't do that.
Okay, just one more thing. So how does it compare to batch driven? Because I know you used to like batch driven.
So batch driven doesn't have any built-in calling. So I had them, and they told me at some point, it was like, hey, we're not going to do batch dialer for some reason, because that was the hope. They were going to connect batch dialer and it's going to have everything you need.
Right.
and it didn't do that, and they had you connect it with Twilio, and you had to
Yeah.
go pay a Twilio account, set
Oh,
up the phone yourself, which is hard to do. And so I just right out of the box got ReSimpli, and I gave them a try. They had like a 7 or 14-day free trial, and I was like, this is it. I think the low one is like $100 a month, and yeah, it's great.
that's good.
Yeah, I can't think of anything that it doesn't do that I need.
Okay.
Oh, and then they have a list stacker, which I love. So
What is that?
yeah, so you plug in every list I get, I plug it into the list stacker. And I label them with tags like this is the foreclosure, this is probate, this is this.
Oh,
And it will you can go in and look which ones have the most tags, and go to those properties. And I've noticed, there's a couple of properties that always wind up on the foreclosure list every month. And so I've started targeting those in particular. And when you've got like 4 or 5 properties, it's easy to just, go for it.
so
Yeah.
really Land Glide, you were saying the big difference is with having the ReSimpli is that as you're driving along, you see a property, you can just tag it and then notify yourself to send them, I guess send out a flyer, a card, or
Well,
call them.
that was in Deal Machine.
Oh,
But
that's
with
in Deal Machine.
ReSimpli, it'll tag it in there as no contact made yet.
Okay.
And then you can mark it to them how you want. Then you can also connect it to Zapier and do the same thing. But Deal Machine doesn't have any of those other things that I need. So that extra step of pulling it out of ReSimpli and mailing to it and marketing to it is fine. Plus, if I'm going to do this offer letter where it sends out an offer letter and has a number on there for them to just call in and accept, I'm not going to be using Deal Machine anyway, because Deal Machine wouldn't have that extra functionality.
Okay.
But yeah, I love it.
Okay.
I did use Freedom Soft for a while, but
yeah, thanks for updating us on the latest, because I've been wondering what you were using.
yeah, I can go. I mean, I think we're out of time. Yeah, we're out of time now, but next time I could just take you in through a guided tour of.
Yeah, just give us a little update on how that's working for
Yeah.
you. Okay,
That's good.
Yeah,
that'd be awesome.
yeah. All right. Okay.
Nice
So
to
come
meet you
back.
guys.
All right.
Yeah,
See you
good
again,
meeting
Mike.
y'all.
See
And
you
come back with
June
some
3rd.
deals.
Yeah.
Okay, see y'all next time.
All right. Good
Bye.
night.
Have a good one.
You too.